Good morning, gang. Happy Tuesday morning. Super Tuesday morning. Today is the biggest primary day of them all. I don't care about the Democrat side, don't care about Democrats. But on the Republican side, 865 electoral vote or delegates, are up for grabs today. And chances are Trump will win a vast majority of them. It's not going to give him enough to get over the top. He'll probably, by the end of the day today, he'll probably still be about 100 short of clinching the nomination. Not a big deal. Okay, close enough. I mean, Nikki Haley was out of this race 6 months ago. Everybody in the country knows it, except for her. But that's not the big issue today. I still get a kick out of the media still trying to push Nikki Haley so much. Oh, she won the D.C. caucuses, yada, da, da, da. Yeah, okay. Yip-de-doo-dah. If anybody looked at the raw numbers, this is where it's fun. She won. She beat Trump by 20 points or 30 points or whatever it was. Here's the raw votes. 1,274 votes for Nikki Haley, 676 for Donald Trump. There's more people in my town than voted in the D.C. primaries. BFD, she won by 600 votes. Don't think that's going to get you anywhere there, Nikki. Okay. But that's not the point. So we know yesterday the Supreme Court overturned Colorado's law, and inevitably Maine's and Illinois' at the same time, stating that Trump is going to be on the ballot everywhere. And of course, the liberal whack jobs out there in the mainstream media, right, are freaking out left and right. Oh my God. You have, what was it, Keith Olbermann, the genius he is, went from a sports reporter to a political commentator. Oh, okay. So you were worried about, what a guy's jockstrap smelled like. And now all of a sudden you know something about politics. Okay. He's calling for the Supreme Court to be abolished because they didn't get this right. Okay. Anybody with a brain cell knows that the Supreme Court obviously got this one right. And as I said many times, this is going to be really funny. It's just kind of like Harry Reid and his nuclear option, 15 years ago, about getting judges approved. And they never thought, gee, what's going to happen when we're not in power? Okay, right? Okay. So yesterday, with all the liberal head explosions, you had the Three Stooges, Jamie Raskin, Eric Swalwell, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, start writing legislation to keep Trump off the ballot. Okay. It's got zero chance of going anywhere. I mean, they kind of forget that they don't control the House. Okay. But I want to give you this as an option. Just a thought there, Jamie, Eric, Debbie. In about 10 months, there's going to be a new president inaugurated in Washington by the name of Donald Trump. In about 10 months, there's going to be a new Senate seated, and that'll be somewhere between 52, maybe even 54 Republicans. There's a real good chance that the GOP maintains control of the House. Okay? And you want to put this law into place. You want this bill you're putting together that, like I said, has no chance, but I'm just giving you this as a possibility. Yeah, what do you think the GOP could do to the Democrat Party with your law and control of both houses of Congress and the White House? You know what? We've decided that every single Democrat is no longer eligible to run in elections. Check, check, check. And the party's dead. Okay. Nobody ever said we send our best and brightest to Congress. I mean, come on, Maxine Waters, AOC, Cori Bush, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar. We want to talk about, you know, the brilliance that represents us in Washington. Not exactly what I'd call Rhodes Scholars. So yeah, so that's their response. We can't do. We only agree with the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court agrees with us. Other than that, oh my God, they need to be disbanded. This is what they're called. Congress needs to write a law specifically to keep Donald Trump off the ballot. Right? Okay, no problem. But I want you to think about something else, and I'll link this below. This was something that came out on MSN yesterday. Not MSNBC, but same company. Okay, MSN. Prepare for, as I said the other day, this summer to get completely crazy. You guys know as well as I do that our three-letter agencies out there do a whole lot of stuff worldwide that we don't know about. Go back to, I don't know, the CIA in Vietnam before the military was ever involved. 2 years of that. Okay. We could talk about, I don't know, the Kennedy assassination. Many of you guys talk about 9/11. Okay. Things that are done by our government against the will of the people, okay, against the better judgment of the rest of the country. But the rogue agents in some of these three-letter agencies, clandestine operations. Now remember, I was attached to these organizations at one point, okay? I can tell you some of the stuff that goes on you don't want to know. At least it did 40 years ago when I was around, okay? So the latest one we have, and this was put out yesterday by MSN. I'm just going to read you the first short paragraph. The FBI in Miami has warned of an Iranian assassin that is wanted in connection to assassination targets against former and current public officials, such as those involved in former President Donald Trump's administration. Could we possibly be setting something up? Oh, well, we told you about it. You should, it was an article on MSN. You should have known. Or could they be setting up the fall guy, make it the Iranians, okay, that are doing this, and all of a sudden we're going to have a few more people Arkansided, right? Okay. What's to say there isn't an attempt on Donald Trump's life? Wouldn't surprise me. What was it? Was it Don Jr. or Eric? One of the two of them, about a week ago, had a mysterious white powder mailed to them. Okay. Not saying that there aren't wackos in this country. There are that try to do that sort of stuff. But what if it's another, I don't know, Sirhan, or another Lee Harvey Oswald, okay? The scapegoats that do it. Now, obviously, Sirhan was caught on film doing it. But what happens if all of a sudden there's a attempt, God forbid, a successful attempt at pick somebody in the administration's life, okay, let alone Trump? I mean, say they go after Melania or Eric or Don Jr. or, I don't know, Lara Trump, any of them, or one, Mike Pompeo or whoever, and the chaos that it'll throw into the country when we have another attempted political assassination. Is it a setup? Are they setting up the Iranians to be the fall guy? Don't put it against the Democrats to blame somebody else. Russia. Remember? Nothing there was no truth to that, absolutely 0%. The Russia collusion was actually by the Hillary Clinton campaign. But they pinned that on Trump for the better part of 2 years and handcuffed him from doing anything because he was trying to play against the media on that. Imagine if there's an attempt, or the other way. Let's say there's an attempt on somebody in the Biden campaign. They're setting it up. There's this assassin out there we're looking for. Let's just say, for example, all of a sudden, Hunter disappears. Who would they pin that on? Oh, that must be the Trump campaign colluding with Iranian assassins, right? You start looking at this. Be very, very careful this summer. Watch what's going on. There's going to be a whole lot of games at play by these three-letter agencies who have completely lost all respect and trust by the American public. Election interference? Oh, I don't know. You could talk about Swalwell and Raskin and Wasserman Schultz. Say that's election interference. You could talk about the Colorado Secretary of State, the Maine Secretary of State, the Illinois Secretary of State. They should all be arrested for election interference. Supreme Court just basically said yesterday they have nothing to do with it. But what did they do? Now you get these guys over and over and over again. They know they can't win, so they have to cheat. Does that sound familiar? I don't know. 2020 was a drop in the bucket. Bringing in boatloads or busloads or truckloads or suitcase loads full of ballots is one thing. When they start bringing in magazines full of bullets, that's the next one. And that's what I see happening this coming year as the DNC slips further and further and further out of favor with the American public. You know, the DNC platform, if you can't beat them, kill them. Pinball out.